You're watching Bizworld. I'm Adrian Seet. The Department of Statistics on Friday announced that the number of jobs in the third quarter of this year has risen 2.6% to 8.9 million. It said in comparison, there were 8.8 million jobs in the second quarter and 8.8 million jobs in the first. These statistics were based on the employment survey conducted on registered businesses. Meanwhile, the number of filled jobs also increased by 2.7% to 8.7 million in the third quarter. This signified an encouraging economic development and labour demand, which was in line with the continuous enhancement of current economic and social activities. The agriculture sector registered the highest growth, followed by manufacturing as well as mining and quarrying. Lembaga Tabung Angkatan Tentera LTAT has issued a notice on an unconditional mandatory takeover offer for all the remaining shares in Boustead Plantations that are not already held by LTAT for a cash price of RM1.55 per share. Now, the exercise was taken after the signing of the unconditional share sale agreement with Boustead Holdings to acquire 739.2 billion B-Plant shares. Following the acquisition, LTAT holds 976.41 billion shares in B-Plant, representing 43.59% of the total issued shares. Now, the offer represented a significant step forward in its overall restructuring and in rebalancing its investment portfolio to better position the fund vis-a-vis the risk-return profile. Now, the offer also provides LTAT greater flexibility in setting the strategic direction of B-Plant and accelerating the value creation plans that meet the objective of LTAT. Malaysia's palm oil stockpiles stood at a 4-year high at the end of October despite more than expected exports. Now, the Malaysian Palm Oil Board (MPOB) data showed inventories rose 5.84% from September to 2.45 million metric tons. This is the 6th consecutive month of increases, and the last time inventories jumped to this level was in September of 2019. Meanwhile, crude palm oil production climbed 5.89% to 1.94 million tons, while palm oil exports increased to 1.47 million tons. Palm oil demand is showing a notable improvement of between 100,000 to 170,000 tons compared to prior forecasts. The demand is supported by periodic improvements in crude palm oil import parities and destinations import margins in line with increased domestic consumption. The multifold increase in the price of raw sugar has caused its retail real price to far exceed the ceiling price set by the government. The price of raw sugar has tripled to 600 ringgit per tonne from 200 ringgit in 2020. However, the ceiling price for sugar sold to the public remains at 2 ringgit 85 cents a kilogram. FELDA Chairman Datuk Sri Ahmad Shabri Chik said if the situation continues and the price of sugar remained low, it would cause FELDA settlers to bear continuous losses. This was because the settlers were shareholders of FGV Holdings and Koperasi Permodalan FELDA KPF, which in turn were major shareholders in the country's main sugar producer, MSM Malaysia Holdings. He said he hoped that the government would take appropriate measures so that MSM would not continue to be burdened with sugar subsidies. In 2022, MSM suffered huge losses of up to 178 million ringgit, which had a big impact on FELDA settlers. Subdued consumer sentiment and cautious spending is expected to persist in the third quarter of this year due to the absence of major festivals and lengthy holidays. RHB research noted that top-line growth for the consumer products sector would be unexciting from the high 2022 third quarter base, which was boosted by the post-pandemic economic reopening. Now, the firm believes that the rising operating costs will continue to eat into margins and the risk of earnings disappointments could be more prevalent in the consumer discretionary sub-segment as consumers may have reduced non-essential spending. On the other hand, the research house said a stable employment market and continued government financial aid to lower income groups should support consumer spending. The current boycotts arising from geopolitical tensions will also likely to have a negative impact on Nestle Malaysia and Starbucks, which is under Berjaya Food. And that's all the time we have for Bizworld. I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for investing your time with us and stay tuned to TV3.